I'm Camille from Unbridely. Today we're having a chat with Chad and Gavin about their wedding, how to do it your own way when it's values driven, how to plan with your heart and not so much your head. This is Unbridely TV. Here's to you guys.
Cheers.
The engagement story.
So I proposed to Chad, and we both had a big love for cruises. We ended up booking this cruise that just got bigger than Ben-Hur. We had both our families on there, most of our best friends, so it ended up being, I think, 32 people on this cruise. So I thought, I've got to make this epic. It's got to be really good.
Any idea at this stage?
Absolutely none.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So before we left, I told everyone what will be happening, all the couples, and I armed them with a photo of Chad and I in a frame, and I said, take this and you'll get instructions when we get on the boat.
There was one part that was quite funny because friends of ours were at the back of the ship up on top deck, holding a photo, and they're waiting for us to come, obviously. So they're standing there waiting, and there's other guests of the cruise come up and said, so sorry for your loss. Thinking they were having it in memoriam or something.
You know, what were your objectives? What did you want to achieve at your wedding?
We just wanted a super fun, relaxed day. That's what it was all about. Celebrate, love, and just have the most fun. Like, we didn't want anything to be too serious, and it wasn't.
And also, from a theme perspective, a bit more masculine than most weddings too. Like, it wasn't covered in floral or anything like that. Sort of modern industrial edge to the wedding.
We took elements from a traditional wedding, mixed in with our own spin on it, which was really cool.
How did you find Serafino? How did you know about it, and why was it for you?
We straight away knew a winery was suited to us.
Because we're alcoholics. And then so we did a bit of a drive around on a Sunday, cruise around, looked at a couple of different venues. Yeah. We knew we were going to have a problem with a lot of guests as well, which we ended up capping to 150. So there was a few venues that we did like that couldn't cater that many. We managed to house, to accommodate the entire bridal party. That was a big factor for us. So we could ceremony, reception and accommodation. It was just the trifecta.
When it comes down to your suppliers, you chose them because...
We didn't have to turn our back on any of the people we were recommended to. Like the minute we walked in and chatted with you, we were like, Camille's marrying us for sure, no doubt about it. And then when we met Glenn, his ideas with the photography, straight away we were just like, because we said we want to sort of steer away from the pose shots. We understand we have to have some, but we want some really relaxed, natural shots, and his ideas were just amazing. Then we met Lifesketch for the videographer. Same thing, they were just cool, and then I think they said we're going to bring in a drone, so Chad was sold straight away. And most of these people were introduced by our wedding planner, who I used to work with. I met her through work, and she was just an absolute godsend.
Did you come up against any instances where you felt uncomfortable talking to your suppliers about anything?
One of the biggest things is always going to be the cost, and that's a conversation you have to have at the end of the day. Like for example, lighting in the room. The initial quote was just, as we said, we didn't have a budget, but we did have in the back of our mind what each thing would probably cost, and this just blew our minds. So we had to go back and say, one, is there some trimming that you could potentially do? Or two, do we need to look at a completely different package? Are we, our ideas bigger than what our budget is? We're almost going to shift suppliers, but then we did negotiate a new package, which was...
and they did come to the party in the end, and we didn't sacrifice any of the look they were going for either, which was good. So we went with the matte black cutlery. And then we didn't even look into it, so we just had that arranged through Emily, through our wedding planner. And then we got the bill for it, and then we realised we could have bought it and kept it for our house.
We could have had cutlery for life. The reality is, though, having said that, is whether we would have been bothered like transporting it and then picking it up and bringing it home.
That's why hire is so great. They bring it to you, it's perfectly clean, you use it, they take it away, and I guess you're paying for that convenience. Are you guys willing to chat about actual dollars, Or do you want to just say...
That's fine.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
We actually don't know what it ended up costing us. It's probably 50, but...
Well, we're thinking maybe around the 45 mark, I think.
Okay.
We never budgeted at all.
You ran with the whole thing with your hearts then.
Budget's not in our middle name, unfortunately.
And do you feel like what you spent was worth it?
Even a few months on, looking back, we would definitely do it all over again. You know, a lot of people, when we were planning the wedding, a lot of people said, go small, because had my time again, we probably wouldn't go as extravagant. And I think that for us, it wouldn't be further than the truth.
But if you could do it again, is there anywhere where you would spend more?
Looking back, the must-haves that we would never have missed are the videographers. You know, you're always going to have a celebrant, a photographer and a venue, but not everyone has a videographer, and that is just the best investment ever, because there's so much that you miss during the day.
Was there anything like really funny or unusual that happened?
We meant to have the rose ceremony for our mums. So if you remember halfway through the ceremony, we were like, we forgot the roses.
It was your signing table that had flowers coming out of the drawer, like Emily had completely styled your signing table, and I went, yoink.
I think for us the special thing was when you made the whole guest repeat the new legal laws, and that was cool.
Do you have a favourite part of your wedding day?
The morning with our families and friends was just phenomenal, but then seeing you and you doing the most amazing ceremony we ever could have asked for was just phenomenal.
We kept the tradition that we didn't see each other the night before. You know, so, and we really enjoyed that. The speeches for me mean a lot. To me, that was probably the highlight, actually.
Your biggest tip for engaged couples?
Engage a wedding planner, number one, or at least for a portion of it, because you sometimes are so caught up on an idea that you're closed off to what other ideas are out there, and there were so many tips and different ways of thinking about things that Emily gave us, which was awesome. Secondly would be, don't do two major life events in the same year. It was the wedding and then a month later getting the keys to the house, so we sort of would have Emily on the phone saying, have you picked this colour? And then we'd have the tiler on the phone saying, where's your tiles? We're running out of this. Like I said, we're just lucky we can't fall pregnant.
Yeah. As a couple who just got married, like just as the same-sex marriage laws came through, did you experience anything different?
No, we didn't have any drums at all with anyone. In fact, they were all pro for it.
How did you negotiate all those traditional customs to make them your own?
It was important for us to both walk, to have a moment to go down the aisle, and we really wanted both our mum and dads to be there, and of course there's no tradition for a man walking down the aisle who you would take, and it's each to their own, but there is something so magical about when the person down the end meets the person getting out of the car. And I think we really wanted to still give that to everyone. We didn't want to have it that we're both already there or we walked in together. We really wanted to have that moment not only for ourselves but for everyone else.
Pretty much everyone's first same-sex marriage as well, but just to see two men that love each other so much, to be able to join in front of everyone and now legal, it was just a release of a lot of people's emotions that probably didn't even know was there. Myself included.
That's cool. We're done.
Oh,
we're
awesome.
done. You guys,
Cheers.
you've run out of wine.
Invite the gays to one of these things. They'll drink all your wine and go.